Being a practice administrator or business administrator, you most definitely have to have organizational skills. Okay, so I made some notes. So, as you know, my name is Barbara Jenkins. I am a wife of 26 years. Tomorrow is our 26th wedding anniversary. I'm a mom of 3 children. Some of the things that I enjoy doing, I absolutely love going to the beach. One of my favorite things to do. It's very calming. I love gardening. I love to be in the garden and working in the yard. I love spending time with my family. A lot of times when I'm in the garden, I try to get my family to help, and they don't like it as much as I do. So I am a practice administrator for a medical office. It's a small medical office that has 1 physician in it, as compared to large medical groups that have multiple physicians and nurse practitioners in it. I handle the administrative work for running a business. That would include staffing, hiring staff, payroll, processing payroll. I also have to be on top of the license renewals for the medical office. There are different licenses that we have to have in the state, federal and state licenses, in order to operate in the state of Maryland. So I have to make sure that those don't expire and they're renewed on time. The malpractice insurance, that needs to be paid on time. There's all other types of insurances. So all of those bills need to be paid on time. The credentialing, when you're a physician, you have to be credentialed with the insurance companies before they will pay for any of your claims. And then I also assist the office staff as far as in the reception area, being a medical receptionist. And then sometimes our medical assistant that assists the doctor. She needs assistance, so I'll help with that as well. So I went to the Charles County Community College, which was a very long time ago. And that is now referred to as the College of Southern Maryland. So you may have heard of that. That's they have a branch in Charles County and in St. Mary's County and Prince Frederick as well. So I took 2 years of business courses. While I was doing that, I was working full time as in a medical office as a medical receptionist. And that was for a large medical practice. Well, this may be a long answer, but it'll kind of make sense to you. So when I was in high school, they had a program for high school seniors called a co-op program. And what you did was as a senior, you had to apply for this program. And when you applied for it, you had to have good grades. And if you were accepted into this program, you would take just a couple of classes in the morning, and then you would leave at 10:30. So you also had to have a car to be able to drive to school and be able to leave at 10:30, and you would go to work. So another requirement that you had was you had to have a full-time job. So so that's kind of how I got into this field. I only needed a couple of credits in my senior year. I didn't want to go all day long. So I got this job working in a doctor's office as a medical receptionist. So That's kind of how I stumbled into the medical field. So I guess for so many years, I have somewhat enjoyed what I do. I don't really have a favorite part. Not sure how else to answer that, but I really did put a lot of thought into that. And I really do enjoy all aspects of what I do. So as a business administrator, I think one of the hardest parts of my job is to make sure that the staff is happy in what they're doing, in their job and their responsibilities. Sometimes everyone has a bad day, but also sometimes your business needs change. And when they do change, if you don't see that and you don't prepare for that and you don't prepare your staff for that, they're not really quite sure how to handle that. So you do have to make sure that your staff is happy in what they're doing, that they're happy with their job. If they're not happy, then you have to kind of figure out, why are they not happy? Are they not happy just because maybe they're having some personal issues? And that's not really anything that you can fix. The only thing you can do is to just try to be compassionate to their needs. But if it is relating to the business and they're not happy, then it's your responsibility to make sure that you evaluate the situation and make adjustments accordingly, so the staffing are able to effectively and efficiently do their job. So the most rewarding part of my job is when the practice as a whole, as an entity, is operating efficiently. And when I say that, I mean that everything is in place, that staff is happy, they're able to do their job, that the doctor is happy because he's able to see patients and take care of them, which is what most doctors like to do. Scheduling is a difficult job in a medical office. So you have to make sure you try to keep patients happy with the scheduling, that the doctor's running on time, the patients show up on time for their appointments. That helps you stay on time with appointments. So when all of that runs smoothly, everyone's happy, I'm happy. What were some of the challenges I faced? So I think I would have to say that a lot of times when you're pursuing a career, you're working up the ladder and working hard. Sometimes you encounter people that look at you and they think that you're not experienced enough and you're too young. You maybe not be able to handle the job or do your job efficiently. And in those times, I would say that what you should do is just know that God is with you. And one of the verses that I like to keep in the back of my mind is, I can do all things with him who strengthens me. Let's see. So being a practice administrator or business administrator, you most definitely have to have organizational skills. You have to be able to meet all of those business needs and make sure they are taken care of. And I mentioned some of those when I was answering question 1, talking about the administrative work for running a business. You have to make sure the bills are paid on time. You have to make sure the doctor's malpractice insurance is paid. And really that would be in any field. If as far as being a business administrator, you just have to make sure that all of the needs of the business are taken care of in a timely fashion. I think another thing that's really important would be communication skills. You need to be able to effectively communicate with others, especially when you're dealing with office staff. If you have a situation with staff, you need to make sure that you certainly don't attack them. You have to be able to discuss the situation to come to a resolution. So it is important that you do have those communication skills to be able to effectively, diplomatically deal with those situations. As far as a practice administrator, another thing you need to have is patience, because a lot of times it is difficult to keep staff happy. You also have patients that may be unhappy as well. That's kind of hard, because you have to keep in mind that a lot of times patients are not feeling well. And if you think about yourself when you're not feeling well, you're kind of grumpy. And when you're grumpy, people don't really want to be around you. So, if you have a grumpy patient, you have to be able to communicate with them and talk to them and make sure their needs are met, and be patient with them. Good question. So, did I mention to you that the physician in the medical practice that I work for is my husband? And that makes it difficult sometimes. It's difficult to work with your husband on a daily basis, and then come home and be a wife in the evening. It's definitely been something that it's taken a long time to work on. It also makes it difficult when you're working from home. Sometimes I do work from home a lot, and I'm the type of person where I feel like I want to make sure everything is done. I don't want to leave anything unfinished, and that is next to impossible. So a lot of times I have a difficult time separating my work life from my family life when I'm working from home. It's one thing when you get up in the morning, you leave your home, you go to work, you go to the office, you do your job, whatever time it's time to leave, you leave and you go home. You leave your work at work. But when you work from home, sometimes it does make it difficult to have that separation. And I have really struggled with that for many, many years. Sometimes it does affect our family life, where we may have something planned and something comes up and I need to handle it right away. So we have to kind of put things on hold. But it's something we've just learned to manage over the years. That's an interesting question, because a lot of times we take things for granted. And a lot of times we think that, why is God giving me this difficult position or issue to deal with? Or things aren't fair and life's not fair. But when you're working in a medical office with lots of patients, a lot of times you see these patients and they have health issues, very serious health issues, or a lot of times they have difficult personal situations. You have elderly patients that live by themselves, and it's difficult for them to function, where they don't have any family members to help them. Those types of things make me grateful for what God has given me. And I kind of look at my life struggles and say, wow, I'm taking all of these things for granted, and I should be more grateful for what God has given me. That's kind of difficult because being a business administrator, you could be in a small business, and that is very different than working in the large corporate world. Being in a smaller setting, it's certainly more difficult, because if you're only working with a couple of people, you need to make sure that you get along with them well, versus working in a larger setting. There may be someone that you don't necessarily get along with. You may not have to deal with them every day. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I have had to do that for many years. That's when your mom does the same thing when she's working from home and she's trying to homeschool kids. Sometimes you just have to adjust your schedule to make it work. Sometimes you can't, though. Sometimes if I have an issue that needs to be resolved right away, I just have to, when my kids were little, I would just have to find something to occupy themselves. Sometimes I bribe them with candy. But you just have to make it work, and know that God is there helping you through it.